So now we're going to look at a usage example of hash functions. They can be used, for example, in message authentication codes. So what do we need message authentication codes for? Well, if we have a message that can be public, so it doesn't have to be encrypted, but we still want to make sure that it's not altered on the way. Well, what could we do then? Imagine the scenario: Alice wants to tell Bob that they meet at 10 o'clock. Well, now somebody who's just plain evil just alters this information. Now Alice and Bob are desynchronized. Bob thinks something else than Alice, and that's not good. So Alice wants to find a way to send a message to Bob and making sure that it arrives exactly the way she sends it, even though it doesn't have to be secret. Well, for that, let's imagine we're engineers, we want to figure something out. We could come up with this construction. Well, we create a hash function, we take a random key and we hash the key together with our message that shouldn't be altered, and then we have a hash hex digest. This hash we can send along with our original message. So here we just append the hash here. And now if we both know this secret random key, the adversary can't just change the information because he can't calculate a new hash with our secret key and the new information. Was that a good idea? Well, as turns out, this construction here is a very bad idea because most hashes use a Merkle-Damgard construction. We're not going to go into the details of that. But they're susceptible to something called a length extension attack. You can read up on that if you're interested. There's a good Wikipedia article on it. What it means essentially is that an attacker, without knowing the key, can just append information to this information without knowing the key, just by having the hex digest or the digest of the hash function. He doesn't even need to know what this message is, he can just append new information to it, which is bad, as Flickr can probably tell you, because Flickr, as photo services, was among many services that were susceptible to length extension attack in their API, which led to for you to be able to forge API keys and then just access other people's data. So the usual go-to choice is an HMAC. Here we use the hash function h, for example, SHA-256 twice, one time with the key, the secret key, and an inner pad, and then the actual message, and then concatenate this hash output with the key and an outer pad and hash that again. That makes the hash function not susceptible to a length extension attack. The inner pad and the outer pad, you can see here where these variables come from and what these constructions are, like Merkle-Damgard. As I said earlier, we don't have the time in this lecture to dive into that. If you're interested, I've given literature for you to read up on that. Or you can just do the cryptography course on Coursera. Well, and if we do that, we just send the original message here and we append an HMAC to it. This HMAC output that is appended is usually called a tag. And then an adversary can't just change the information because he can't then calculate the HMAC.